And then he said, "My balls!" It's quite funny because they were indeed his balls.
No one else's.
No one else's balls have this many balls.
No.
Can juggle the balls.
Are they very loose? Loose balls. Welcome to the new podcast, Loose Balls.
Yeah, I don't want to do Big Damn Cast anymore. Let's do Loose Balls.
Yeah.
Welcome to Loose Balls, everybody. I'm your host, Chris Grab 'em and Cough Johnson.
And I'm Matt Knock 'em Together Watson.
Yes. Like a pendulous desk ornament.
Yeah, like clackers.
Just like tap them on one side and let them go.
Yeah.
Speaking of letting them go,
Let it go.
Frozen.
Let it go.
Is not in our news this week. But what is in our news this week
okay.
is we had a triple threat of trailers over the last couple of days.
Truck.
A big old chunky truck of fun.
That's no way to talk about John C. Reilly instead of Ollie.
Hey now, don't dream it's over.
It is.
But
it is over.
we're gonna have a ching-wang about them our trailers.
I'm not.
And the beauty of them our trailers. But also, you little buggers. We're going to delve a little bit after the third one into some of the expanded universe of a certain cinematic universe.
Yes.
Which is sort of forgotten.
Yes.
Which is odd considering it's every bloody where. But, and then we might have a peek at some email, and then if not, we'll just I don't know, you can set fire to your listening device.
But first...
Protest. Set fire to your listening device in protest.
Yes,
to us.
don't do that. It contains noxious chemicals. First off, I'm going to tell you about a thing that was announced earlier today that might surprise you, Christopher.
Oh, yes.
So, out of nowhere, Sony, in their infinite wisdom, I say infinite wisdom, they don't have infinite wisdom, they're more like, they're like the infinite monkeys at the infinite typewriters. And occasionally they get something right. And this might be something they've got right. It is, in fact, a just announced PlayStation Classic.
What the dick?
It's a small mini PlayStation 1 with a HDMI output and 20 preloaded games. The full range is yet to be announced, but they've shown off so far Final Fantasy VII, Jumping Flash, Ridge Racer Type 4, Tekken 3, and Wild Arms. It comes with 2 original PS1 controllers, and by original I mean original, they're not DualShocks.
Good.
So we're not going to be getting any DualShock compatible games on it.
That's fine.
And
makes sense, I guess.
HDMI and USB power. It does the whole, you touch the reset button to change the game, and you touch the disc button to change the game, the reset button to pause stuff, and presumably it's got save states and stuff in it. It'll be some sort of, they've had a PS1 emulator that works on pretty much any software forever, because it's going way back to the PS2, PSP. So, yeah, it's not for me.
You know what?
Because I've got most of the games that I want for PS1 already.
Well, here's my beef, Sonny Jim.
What's your beef?
I mean, I get it. Like the
get
mini NES and the mini SNES.
That's why they're doing
really
it.
well.
This is going to do gangbusters. It's
Mega Drive got like a version on the way, haven't they? I think
there's various like
one.
licensed Mega Drives that aren't as good as the.
But I know they stopped them because there was rumour mill a while back that like Sega or someone was putting together a Mega Drive version of it with like a 40 game library or something. Which again would be more impressive. 40 games would be.
SNK have done a Neo Geo Mini.
Okay. When do we get the Dreamcast? That's never happening.
I don't think we're going to get a N64 Mini at this point. We'll see. That might happen because you got to do those controllers. But it's been announced at $99.99. So that's about 90 quid. So it's...
Here's my qualm with that.
What's your qualm?
PlayStation 1s are relatively easy to acquire.
There's one on your shelf here. There's one on my shelf at home.
Yep. Go to any charity shop. You're likely to find, if not a PlayStation 1, some PlayStation 1 games.
And you know what plays PlayStation 1 games?
a PlayStation 2,
and
a PlayStation 3.
Yep.
So, if you have a PS3, which is, as well, easier to acquire one of those than the PS1.
Yeah.
And for very, very relatively great prices as well. Second-hand or unopened, you can get PS3s for less than £100.
Again, this is what I'm saying. It's not for me, and it's not for you. You know who it's for?
Hipsters?
It's for the people who grew up with the PlayStation and haven't played video games since. Who walk into a shop and go, ooh, a PS1? Oh, it's got these games that I remember playing as a kid. Final Fantasy 7, I used to love that when I was in school. And then they buy it for £100 and take it home, plug it in and play it once and never play it again. That's who it's for.
Because I was going to say...
That's the same people who bought the NES Mini and the SNES Mini.
Because the PS1 library, like, a good 60-70% of the PS1 library is on PSN. And if you have a PSP, even, or a Vita, or a PS3, you can download and play those suckers within seconds.
Yep.
And they're usually not very pricey.
They're about £8 usually.
Yeah, for the sort of big titles. But sales happen from time to time that knock them down to about £3.
Yeah. I think I got all 3 of the classic Resident Evil games for PS1 for something like £7 in a sale or something.
And I know these shops aren't as common, but like in small towns you usually get like second-hand shops that focus on games and CDs that have extent. I mean, Lincoln, where I've done Panto, Gotham Games, there's a shop there called Gotham Games.
Yeah.
Which the entire upper floor is PS1 games, like all along one wall.
Yeah, and plenty of them.
They're between £1 and £10 based on what the game is.
It's like I'm saying, Chris. It's not for us, and it's probably not for people who listen to this podcast. It's for people who haven't played games since they were a kid and don't have any current consoles, but they're just going after that nostalgia.
I mean,
it's like if you're already into gaming and you have modern consoles, you've probably already got this stuff or access to it.
The upside to this, as with the Mini SNES and Mini NES, is Sony getting in touch saying, "Shut up, boys!"
Fucking Spotlight.
Can you play the role of a tiny Vietnamese girl?
Can you audition yesterday in Taiwan?
Oh God, for a role that's available 4 days prior to the audition.
Yeah, thanks. Fuck off.
Oh God. Anyway, so hey guys, pay 127 odd quid a year to have a link to send to agents, because that's pretty much all it's good for nowadays, putting you on a shortlist.
But in terms of spurious value, let's go back to the PlayStation Classic.
Oh God. The one thing those two consoles and this one is doing that is great is the ease portion of HDMI cable plugged in, done.
Yeah.
Because of course, if you want to play an older console, certain TVs nowadays even don't, like the big tellies tend to have these options, but the smaller TVs that people have like in their rooms or stuff, or if they've just got a smaller telly, don't tend to have AV cable ports or a SCART port.
Nope.
Big TVs do. On the back of that TV up there is one SCART port and one AV port as well.
All my various TVs of various sizes have some sort of AV input and SCART input.
So if you've got those, you can play these older consoles quite easily. You just plug them in. Done.
Well, you say that.
Okay, well, the Nintendo ones tend to have more of a struggle. Nintendo ones tend to... You have to sort of turn them off on. It
depends on the game, because
it's something... Believe it or not, with some of those, it's something to do with functioning parts in your TV that aren't... Because they're not used really a lot, they need sort of waking up.
It's also,
which is a weird thought. So you have to turn the console off and on and off and on.
It's also just about the way video standards have changed over the last 20 years.
If you have a TV with auto adjust on the resolution and everything, then you're fine. Like if I plug a PS2 into this TV in the living room, it goes on immediately.
You say that, but
if I plug the PS1 in, it does take a couple of goes for it.
Modern TVs run at different aspect ratios, different frame rates. They handle incoming signals differently. So sometimes they're stretched, sometimes they interlace or de-interlace frames that should be interlaced or de-interlaced or vice versa. They don't display the stuff that's coming through the signal correctly because it's using tricks to make it display properly on old hardware that is no longer used in modern TVs. So that's the main problem you have when you're doing old stuff direct from original hardware, and emulation tends to smooth out a lot of those things.
But when it comes to the PlayStation library, that only affects you really if you want to revisit the PS2, Because if you want to revisit the PS1, you've got your PlayStation 3 with its HDMI cable already plugged in.
Well, no, because that's what I'm saying. Even if you're going through HDMI, because of the video formats that are used in the games.
But on the PS3, for the most part, it looks the tits. Playing a PlayStation 1 game on PS3 looks.
I don't think I'd ever talk about a PlayStation 1 game looking the tits.
I mean, it looks like it's. I mean, it looks like it's meant to. It doesn't look corrupted or stretched. You can only. Or anything.
Well, some of them do.
Oh God.
Yeah, no.
I've looked out at the ones.
Yeah, it's rare, but sometimes you just get stuff that just like doesn't, or even that it's not. It looked good. It looked good when it was 20 years ago because it was on a small CRT, and now it's on a massive widescreen flat panel, and it just looks like ass. Not because it's stretched or corrupted, just because the art style doesn't scale up very well. You get that with a lot of early Polygonal 3D games. Like, go back and play the original Tomb Raider.
No thanks.
It's just rough. It's rough. Final Fantasy VII is rough. Like a lot.
I think that's where the platformers have stood out more over time with the
like 2D sprite based art has aged way better than anything 3D and polygonal from that era. 3D polygonal stuff ages really quickly, like early CGI ages really quickly. It depends how you use it.
So if you're looking for that ease, but I would still argue that 20 games on essentially just a thing that holds 20 games for £100, that's a lot when those games are again available for so much cheaper.
Yeah, but like I say, it's not for people who already have access to that stuff.
True.
That's not who it's for.
True. That's so very, very true, Matthew.
It's not a good value proposition for us, but we're not the target market, so...
Hopefully it will make a lot of people happy when they get it in their stockings this year or next year or whatever it is they're planning to put it out.
A pretty big fucking stocking.
Well, I don't know. I mean, the DualShocks are going to be miniature. They're not going to be
They're not even DualShocks.
Oh, it's the DualShock.
No, they are original controllers.
Oh, original size?
Yeah.
Wait, so they've just taken them and kitted them?
Yeah.
That's...
Same as the... Same thing they did with the NES Classic and the SNES Classic. I
thought they were miniature versions.
No, they're full-size controllers, but the SNES and NES Classic Mini have the Wii remote jack.
Yeah.
To hook in, so you can hook them in. That's what they used to hook into the mini consoles, and then you use that so you can hook them up to a Wii remote to then use it to play the virtual console games on an actual NES controller or an actual SNES controller. And it looks, I can't tell because of the just different video they've announced, but it looks like their original style PlayStation controllers, not DualShocks.
Which I'll be honest, if they're doing this, they're obviously planning to do a PS2 version at some point. So save the DualShock for that, so you can have that like natural evolution.
Not yet because of the storage concerns. Because
the PS2 one could just be like, we've got 5 games on it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. But it looks like their original connectors as well. What would you...
Okay, so if you were that kind of PS here,
yeah.
If, for example, you didn't have a PS1 library access, PS3, and you were buying a mini PS1, what are 5 games you definitely want on it to convince you to buy it? Because I think you'd have to put Final Fantasy VII on there. I think that would upset people if it wasn't on there.
Well, it is, so it's okay.
Yeah. Resi 2?
Yeah, Resi 2, Crash Bandicoot, original Tomb Raider,
Gran Turismo? I mean, that genre did kind of kick off in a really big way on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 2.
Gran Turismo 2.
Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah? Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I think Metal Gear would be a big selling point.
Yeah.
I think that's what you'd have to do is you have to put stuff that still had connections in the modern run as well, so people go, oh, let's play the original.
You might not be able to do Gran Turismo if it uses DualShock.
Oh, they'll just chuck
they'll
just chuck F1 in there or something.
Oh,
instead,
yeah. Well, they've got Ridge Racer Type 4.
Or they're like, oh shit, we can't get the rights to anything. Just put Carmageddon on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for me, similar sort of stuff. Like Crash Bandicoot, maybe not so much. Because
that was the killer app for the PlayStation when it first came out.
But because we've had the Insane trilogy, I don't think they'd rely on that maybe as much.
Oh yeah. Also, they might not be able to license. No, they should be able to license it.
Crash Team Racing on it because that's not had an update or an upgrade, and they need to put that on there.
Apparently, that's recently been rated for re-release.
Do you think they're going to give it a cheeky remaster, online play?
I'm not sure. They might just do it a straight re-release. I mean, you can get it on PSN anyway.
Yeah, you can get it now. I've
if it's
got several versions. I have the disc up there. I've got a downloaded version on the PlayStation 3. I've got it on my PSP. And I've also got it on my PS Vita because it's the best racing game ever made. Don't at me.
If it's being re-rated, then it'll be for release on modern consoles. So it may be a remaster.
God, that would be.
Or it may be a new game.
I hope remaster, and I hope they have the absolute balls to make it 8-player.
Yeah.
Like, so that the screen is just split into loads of different sections.
What other games would you want to see on there?
I think you have to put a Tomb Raider on there for sure. I'd probably put Tomb Raider 3 on there.
Yeah.
Just sort of really show off the later end of the PlayStation 1 kind of. Do you know what I mean? Because I know we had Revelations as well after that, but I think 3's the better game.
Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
Yes! Oh, complete with Spider-Man and... Was it Spider-Man and Wolverine on that one with the secret characters?
Not Pro Skater 3, because the PS2 version's better.
Yes.
And not Pro Skater 4. Because the PS2 version's better.
Yeah.
Pro Skater 2.
Pro Skater 2. Yeah.
Definitely.
Wipeout.
What else? Wipeout 2097. The second one.
Yeah.
Wipeout 3.
And again, it's a rights thing, but like one of the wrestling games would be interesting.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to license that now. But it would be interesting, but it wouldn't
What if
be
it
able to
was a
license
defunct wrestling association? Somewhere like WCW or whatever that doesn't exist in that way.
Well, no, because it has to be WWF Attitude. Because that was the best one.
Well, it's true, but you had Hulk Hogan in the WCW stuff, so you can sell it on that. Like, nostalgia! Look at these guys!
Yeah, but that's also... WCW is now... That back catalogue is all owned by WWE.
Oh, of course, yeah. They swallowed it up like a alligator in a swamp.
Like a gigantic swamp creature.
Well, we shan't be buying it, but we hope people who do are happy. I guess.
I'm sure you will.
Here's an idea, though, Sony. Why not release a console? Let's call it, I don't know, like the PlayStation Retro or something like that. That is a backwards compatible console that plays PS1, 2, and 3 games. Maybe do that. Maybe do that, guys.
If they already play those games physically, then they can't sell them again digitally and make any money off them. They have no financial reason to do that.
That's true. Well, alright, well then, we'll just sell a console that is not the PS4, considering you don't seem to be doing it on the PS4. Sell a console that is specifically built to stream and house digital versions of the back catalogue.
Yeah, they've got that. It's called the PS4.
Yeah, but it's shit. The PS4's access to PlayStation 2 games is not great. It's very limited, or you spend money on a monthly subscription and have to guarantee you have enough free time to take advantage of it financially.
Yeah.
To play PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah.
When I'd much rather just have like a little hard drive with controllers that you can...
That's capitalism.
Yeah, gag.
If you want that, you have to steal the games.
Big Damn Cast. We're encouraging you to steal our hearts with some trailers released this week.
If you want to set up an emulation box, that's something you can do, but you can't do it legit.
Not legit, son. Tell you what is legit.
Stan and Ollie.
So, 3 trailers have hit in the last couple of days, and the first of which is Stan and Ollie, a film about part of the later career of Laurel Hardy, starring Steve Coogan, who looks pretty dead ringer in some of these shots for Stan Laurel.
He's pretty spot on.
And John C. Reilly, who, through some phenomenal makeup and prosthetics work, is the spit of Oliver Hardy.
Yep.
It's nuts.
Really impressive.
It looks so good.
And a little scary.
It's just a bit, innit? A little bit. What I found fascinating watching this trailer, I watched it with Lucy the other night, and her first inclination was, hang on, wait, Stan Laurel's British? And I was like, yeah. He's always sounded American. And I was like, well, no, because he's from the UK, but he does have the, like, especially in the late years of his life, he had the American twinge to his voice, because he lived primarily out there, didn't he? He was in Hollywood for a very long time.
Yeah.
And because of that, Coogan's nailed it. When you hear it in the trailer, like, Coogan's accent is spot fuck on.
Also, you could just get away with his accent slipping.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
But that's what I'm saying, though. He's got that, like, every sort of other word has that American cadence to it and stuff.
But
he calls Ollie an ass at one point in the trailer, and it sounds American, and it sort of takes you out of it for a second. You're like, wait, what? but that's how he spoke. That is how Stan Laurel spoke. John C. Reilly sounds exactly like Ollie.
I love John C. Reilly.
He's great, isn't he? He should be in all the things.
He is amazing.
Like in everything's. I want him to be the one who returns in Avengers 4 and kills Thanos. It's like, yes, for wiping out my planet off screen.
Yeah. All right.
Yes, all
right.
Because that made me happy. And then Glenn Close leaps in and just punches Thanos to death. You're like, why are the Nova Corps like stuffed shirt police people suddenly super powered?
And all the time they're screaming, "Rehire James Gunn! Rehire James Gunn!"
And then Brie Larson punches an old lady.
So Glenn Close was the latest Guardians of the Galaxy actor to come out in support of James Gunn.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Like, she's got no stake in that game. She's one and done, but like, she's gone, yeah, no, this is shit.
She's like, it's very sad to imagine Guardians without James Gunn.
That's awesome. Good on her.
Thanks, Glenn.
But this film, I don't know who's directed Stan Ollie. I'm not sure who's on it. Let me...
some guy. I know it's the same guy who wrote Philomena.
Okay.
Which is very good.
Okay, that makes me happy.
If you haven't seen Philomena, you should see Philomena.
But I mean, I know a lot of our listeners skew on the younger side. It was directed by John S. Baird. John S. Baird. I know a lot of our listeners skew on the younger side, so I'm gonna say this to y'all now.
I'm gonna say it.
I'm Makusa. If you've not watched any Laurel and Hardy, if your familiarity with Laurel and Hardy is simply that you've heard the names and you can recognise, like, the silhouette, for example.
Yeah.
Please change that. Please change that, I implore you. Because old school cinema back in the day, like, you know, once pictures were becoming a thing and people were coming to watch the pictures and coming to watch a motion picture and all these shorts and everything, it was very literally, for the longest time, just translations of vaudeville and variety acts to the screen. And sometimes very literally it was just a musical, very loosely framed with big musical numbers, which then carried on into the 30s, 40s, 50s, the talkies becoming the musicals and everything. A lot of it is just, I mean, all the classics and stuff, things like Singing in the Rain, are essentially just people go to watch theatre, so let's just do theatre on screen.
Yep.
And it's like, yeah, it's fine. And then it's like this 50s and 60s is when things got a bit more experimental and you start getting the different genres start to come through. And movies became much more than just like a musical put on film, which is not to obviously slag off the musical put on film, because a lot of those things stand the test of time and are incredible. And a lot of them happened because people were dicks to each other.
True.
And it created incredible dance sequences, but these people were effectively monsters. Anyway, read into Hollywood, guys, it's great. How we long for a time when the only monsters behind the scenes in Hollywood were just twats who would choreograph things to the point of people being in pain. But Stan and Ollie, they stood out and still do because they were part of that pack of comedians and comedy performers who begin in silent works and then move into talkies. Because of course, a lot of the silent era actors, their act and their sort of their brand, as it were, was not continued into films when sound became an element.
Because they had rubbish voices.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I can't remember who it is, but there is like an actor who was like that, where their voice
dashing
just did
and
not...
handsome and striking, and then they talk like this, and you're out in the mouth, and they say, "Oh yes,
I call it the Beckham effect.
I'm going to be the hero of this story."
It's like David Beckham. Wow, what a man!
Yeah,
what a fucking gorgeous specimen of athleticism and just like pure like just handsome chops.
I'm David
what's your
Beckham.
secret?
Well, I'll tell you my secret is
I work
love
really
to
hard,
do-
I play really hard.
Love to David Beckham. Not slagging off David Beckham. David Beckham donates like freaking a third of every salary to charity.
David Beckham's pretty sound guy.
He's pretty great.
he's pretty great,
By all
mate.
accounts.
The body of Adonis, the voice of Pasquale. So yeah, but like, so for stars to translate back at that point, it was a big deal, and obviously it saved like their careers. But it meant that people who were able to like go and see a film or go and watch a serial in the cinema, because again that was another big thing. Saturday mornings was just like, that was cinema time. You'd pay a bit of money, and you and your family would go and watch like a cartoon, and then a newsreel, and then a half-hour short film, and that was it. And it's like, that's great. What a cool activity! Everybody getting together to go and watch some stuff together. That's really cool. Like, to then continue on into the next stage of that meant that people who might be like, oh, I don't know if we could really afford to go to the cinema, as far as the business goes, it meant they went, oh, but I want to see them again. Absolutely, I want to see what they do now. So it was a big part of why Hollywood and film succeeded in the early part of the 20th century. And Laurel and Hardy were a very big part of that because they're up there with like, you know, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, that kind of era. But they, of course, were freaking great when it came to script, when it came to wordplay, when it came to characterization. So they stood out head and shoulders above everybody else.
That came from having worked on stage as well.
Yeah,
so...
well, that's the thing. They'd refined it, and their act wasn't just the physical. And again, that's not to belittle it. Stuff that like Keaton and his peers did is incredible. But it meant that once talking became the main feature, because it was a big deal. Oh my god, they're talking in films now. Like, they're talking.
There's sound!
Yeah, like, someone's playing the piano here, but they're talking. And then eventually, oh no, there's a soundtrack now. Like, Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy really... They were the figurehead of that for family entertainment and comedy for that era of cinema. And there is a reason that people still refer to this day when they talk about double acts, they say, like, oh, they're a real Laurel and Hardy, these two and stuff. Because they are the benchmark.
Yeah.
And I firmly believe they still are. The 70s in the UK in particular saw a resurgence in like double acts that had that sensibility that, you know, like again have lived on like beyond their thingy. You know, and Morecambe and Wise probably again the most prominent from that era. But you know, Stan and Ollie, that they kicked it off. So the fact that we get to watch a story of a relatively undocumented part of their career is quite nice, and it's refreshing because it's not what they usually do, like the untold story. They always go back, they always go to the beginning or something like that. For this one, no, they're going to a very specific period in their career as their sort of film run was beginning to wrap up and dry up a bit, because again, colour film was now in, and things were beginning to change in a new way. It was becoming more about the spectacle movie, the big motion picture, like what would only be known about 20 years later as blockbuster. Like, that was becoming the fashion now. So, they had a brief reprieve. They came to the UK and did a tour of their material.
It was their farewell tour, 53.
Yeah. It was like, hey, here we go.
Yeah.
Whilst ticking over, waiting for, that I think there was a few, but this film sort of rounded up to one. There was a few projects that they were like, these things might be happening. We're going to do this while we wait to find out. And what happens after, I won't touch on, because, like, the film will probably cover that.
The film will get there. We imagine.
But but there were tensions around them. There was a bit where Oliver did like, I think it was a couple of films with another performer, and Stan did go on later in life to talk about it in interviews and be like, you know, it did upset me. It did make me feel sad. And he realizes that it wasn't, you know, it was a bit of a selfish reason to feel sad, but it was because they were so close, and they were two. The reason why I say they're still the standard is because they were two. I mean, you just watch any of the. I mean, the go-to if you're a newcomer and you just want to check one thing, watch Way Out West. Just watch Way Out West. And all their films are between half an hour and an hour, so like you can't say, "Oh, I'll try and fit it in." You can fit it in.
This was the era of short cinema. Like films were not long back then.
And just watch any of those. Their relationship, their chemistry, physicality. In terms of their dialogue, just the exchanging between each other, the silent shit where it's just about a glance. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah,
like they are one performance, and it's superb. And hopefully, this film will capture a bit of that. But the main reason I'm excited about this, aside from just watching like John C. Reilly and Steve Coogan play those roles, is I'm hoping this opens the door to a whole new generation of people who want to check out their stuff.
Yeah,
because as time, they may be like, you know, the standard and the names, like they're in the lexicon. Like we talk about silhouettes, like they had a silhouette, which is a big part of why you remember certain characters and performers. If they have a silhouette, you remember it. That's why everyone, you know, that's why Mickey Mouse is a thing, because you can picture Mickey Mouse. You can immediately picture Mickey Mouse, even if you've never watched him in anything. You know what he looks like. If she said Laurel and Hardy, chances are 99% of the people you say that to are going to picture a little skinny dude, a bigger guy. Tall bowler hat, little bowler hat, you're going to see it in your head. Yeah. So, like, there's a reason that they are that. But as time goes by, media changes, media shifts, and there'll be generations who don't go back to check it out as much as the previous. I'm kind of hoping this changes that. I think people in their, like, 20s at least are going to go, all right, let's go watch some and give it a go because of this.
One would think.
Fingers crossed.
One would hope.
So give the Stan and Ollie trailer a watch, because it just looks like you're hopefully not too typical, like biographical fare, but it looks like a really fun story about a relationship between two people who adore each other and what like their time together meant.
Yes.
So give it a bloody watch, you swine. Get it trending.
If it's good.
No, watch it anyway.
Watch the trailer.
Watch the trailer.
As for the film, judgment will be reserved until the release.
If the reviews for the film are shite, buy a DVD box set of the originals.
Yeah.
Spend your money on that instead.
But you want to know about old things reimagined for a new generation? Let's talk about Mary Poppins Returns.
Ah, yes, the prequel to Mary Poppins Forever.
Mary Poppins and Robin.
Stone the Crows, ladies and gentlemen.
Stone the Crows. It's Mary Poppins.
Yeah, the Mary Poppins Returns trailer has arrived. The first, I think they've been calling it Trailer 2. But I thought the first one was just a teaser, because it was just, here's some shots of the street.
I could never.
Here's her in a mirror, and it's done.
I can't keep track anymore of what's a teaser and what's a full trailer, and there's also a trailer before the trailer for the trailer.
Yeah, the teaser for the teaser. But this is a trailer in the full sense of, here's the basic plot, here's some visuals, we'll see you at Christmas.
It's Christopher Robin.
Yeah, now right, so yeah, to kick off, in Big Damn Tradition, in one noise, how did you feel about the Mary Poppins Returns trailer? Yeah. Now, if that sounds dismissive and apprehensive, I think it's because we are both of those things. Apprehensive because it's a freaking tough act to follow.
I'm not apprehensive.
That's my main concern. Yeah. Is like, you better have a damn good story here to convince me this needed to be told. And that can be done. It can totally be done. Like, in a world of soft reboots and things, like, you can totally do that if you capture a bit of the bottled lightning of the original and then bring your own spin. Even if yours isn't as good, it can still be a worthy entry into the whole thing and enjoyed.
Entrees. I'm hungry now.
But I think you're more dismissive.
Yeah.
In the way that
it's not that I'm worried it's going to be bad.
It's that we've seen this.
I think it's going to be fine. It's not even that. It's not like I've got fatigue of a particular kind of film. It's just I've no particular interest in it. I'm not after another Mary Poppins, and I'm sure it'll be fine. It'll probably be pretty damn good, if not great. I mean, looking at the cast they've got, and the production values they've poured into it, and it's it's one of Disney's quite close. It's a property that's quite close to the heart of a lot of people at Disney, I'd imagine, because it was so successful, and a lot of people who were working on this probably grew up watching the original and that kind of feeling. But also, I'm just not interested in another one, and there's nothing. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not. There's nothing in the trailer that makes me go, "Oh, this looks like it might be a bit dodgy." Just like, "Oh, this looks fine," but I'm not interested in it.
I mean, they've got powerhouses behind it.
Oh yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda is in the cast, as well as having, I believe, co-written all of the music and songs for it.
Would not surprise me. You don't get Lin-Manuel Miranda along on a musical and then not having to do music.
That's... Yeah, I mean, which is the guy behind freaking Hamilton, as far as Disney goes, Moana. Like, you've got some freaking talent going on there. And from all of his tweets during the production of the movie, he clearly is a big fan of the original.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully that passion translates. P.L. Travers wasn't. But hopefully that passion translates.
She hates cartoons.
And also everything.
Everything ever.
But it's okay, because it was all just a metaphor about a relationship with her father.
Oh, a metaphor. Oh, good.
Yeah. But Saving Mr. Banks is a great movie. Just go in knowing that it has been dished out with a spoonful of sugar.
Does help the medicine go down.
Yes. So the talent, I mean, Colin Firth, Meryl Streep, Ben Whishaw, Emily Blunt as Mary Poppins, which is pretty okay.
Yeah, it's pretty great casting.
Okay, Julie Andrews is going to be impossible to even touch the hem of that freaking frilly dress. But if you are going to cast somebody out there right now to play this role, Blunt is a damn good shout. Yeah. And as the trailer reveals as well, Dick Van Dyke is in there, which we knew about, because apparently Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke have both recorded cameos. In
No,
the movie?
Julie Andrews was approached for one.
Oh, did she turn it down?
But she turned it down because it. To quote her, this is Emily's show, and I want it to be very much Emily's show.
Oh, okay, I get that then. Like, so she's gone like, this is hers. I don't want to pull focus.
Yes, and
Fair
has
enough.
Endorsed Emily Blunt as in publicly many times since the.
I wouldn't be upset.
movie.
I wouldn't be upset if she appeared in it somewhere, like even just like someone else in a photograph, but they use her or something.
Hey.
That could be quite nice. But Dick Van Dyke's in it, which when they announced that, I was like, okay, again, like cameo, just be in the background.
Yeah.
The trailer confirms the one thing I'm genuinely really sort of like made me feel warm inside. He's playing the bank character from the first one again.
No,
What?
he's playing Dawes Jr.
Fuck off! Oh, that's amazing! That's brilliant!
That's what he's credited as on IMDb.
That's
anyway.
so good. So, but that's what's brilliant because it's effectively the same role.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic.
That's
For
really
those who didn't spot it in the original, and I remember I didn't realise until I was like in my teens.
Yeah.
Dave Van Dyke plays Bert in the original, but he also plays
Dawes,
Mr.
Mr.
Dawes,
Dawes.
yeah, like the head of the bank, the elderly fuck who has a song and everything, and big white beard and dodders around. That's Dick Van Dyke. He looks exactly the same in this one, but the beauty of it is no prosthetics this time.
Yeah.
Just a fake beard. And yet the trailer sort of takes a moment to even sort of go to, and yes, he's going to be dancing. Because at 92, he hasn't slowed down. There was an interview, I think it was Variety a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Caught up with a bunch of the older guard in Hollywood who are still acting. So at the time, he's passed away since, but like Jerry Lewis was amongst it, and Mel Brooks, and they spoke to like Stan Lee, because obviously it's like you're a executive producer in the marquee sense, but you are involved in these productions, and he's like, yeah, absolutely. And essentially, the interviews were a little bit about each of their careers, but then why do you think you are still kicking around as much as you are right now? Like, is there a secret? Or do you have any advice for anybody who's getting older and maybe feels like that? Because these people are active as fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially Dick Van Dyke. And Dick Van Dyke's thing was just like, no, just be you. Don't let other things stop you from being yourself. And I remember he admitted that, like, yeah, I think, good genes sort of is a factor. Like, I've been blessed with being very healthy. I've not had to face too many physical or health setbacks over the years. So, of course, I'm not saying you can just leap out of your wheelchair and dance around, but at the same time, like, don't ever stop circumstances around you or changes that you're going through because of your age stop you from being you.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it. And I've certainly met and had people in my life, like, older who were like that, who didn't let it stop them. Lou's granddad, who we lost a couple of years ago, unfortunately, Brian, wonderful man, firefighter, then help with like the firefighting stuff after that, and then continue to be like a volunteer and build stuff for people and do mechanical stuff, and always told shit jokes, and was just like his illness came very suddenly and took him very suddenly. Right up until that point, he was the most active, sprightly Christmas cracker joke made flesh I've ever met. He was wonderful, but you know what I mean? Like, it is that same sort of thing. He just didn't let any of it ever stop him.
No.
And it's I must admit, that brief shot of Dick Van Dyke makes you go, that's awesome. Like, the fact that he's got like a at least a big dance moment in the movie, it's like, this is great.
Yeah.
But it also, as you pointed out when we rewatched it for recording, that montage shafts every other guest really in the movie.
Meryl Streep's face is there.
Yeah.
And Julie Walters' face is there.
Yeah.
And Angela Lansbury has a line.
Yes, of course. Yeah, Angela Lansbury's in it. That makes me happy. Again, someone who has only recently slowed down a little because she's like, I'm just getting tired more now.
Yeah.
But she's like, what, 90?
She's in her 90s.
Something. Yeah. And as recently as about 3 years ago, was the lead in a West End play.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, she's not slowing down. Angela is not slowing down.
She is a machine.
She's a goddamn machine. It's because she lives so long because she's living off of the blood of all those people that Jessica Fletcher definitely murdered.
Yeah.
No, she definitely murdered them.
She murder.
Murder. She wrote.
She wrote the murder. Okay.
Blunt. We get a very brief bit of singing voice.
Yeah.
Perfectly pleasant, but in that way that
Not
I
enough
find
to-
I find it really annoying in musicals. Again, we were talking about this. when trailers for film musicals nowadays find it really hard to sort of not look. Trailers for musicals, as someone who works within theatre and trained in theatre and loves it, there is nothing I hate more than watching a trailer for a musical, like a theatre musical. I want to slap everybody in the trailer, and I know it's not their fault, but the way it's always cut is it's just this weirdly sort of like, we've got to get the money shot. And when you're in the theatre, it feels very different than watching someone mug to camera in the middle of a solo.
See,
it's really odd. I find it really gross.
My biggest thought is, stop fucking smiling!
Yeah. The best way, but I think the best way to do a musical trailer for theatre or for film especially, is pick one of your songs and make that the tone of the trailer. Pick one song, make that the tone. I'm not a fan of Greatest Showman, but the Greatest Showman... Their marketing was bob on. It used This Is Me as its big marketing push. So you hear that song and you instantly think of that film regardless of whether you saw it or not.
I hear that song and I want to not hear it ever again.
But Little Shop of Horrors, all the trailers, they had snippets of other bits and pieces in the marketing, but Little Shop of Horrors, the title song, the opening song.
Because why wouldn't?
Yeah, because it works and it gets in your head. Oliver, the trailers for Oliver were full of food, glorious food.
Mm-hmm.
And others use like Consider Yourself. Like they pick 2 or 3 distinct tunes. Modern movie musicals, though, do tend to do that thing where they just show a bit of this song and a bit of this song, and it's like, pick one theme. And this trailer sort of does. It has like one swell of music for the second half of the trailer, but you get a glimpse of a song, and then it snatches it away and moves on.
I think it's also because of the way modern trailers are cut, and the fact that there aren't that many modern musicals means that it's like it's a genre that is coming back at the minute, which but they don't
hopefully
really
will be for better rather than worse. It'd be nice if musicals come back in full fucking force and they're all amazing.
I think those two styles just don't mesh at the moment. I think they can get there.
I think it kind of rides on Mary Poppins Returns and A Star Is Born. Because I know A Star Is Born is not strictly a musical, but music's a big part of it and there'll be full songs in it. I think that those will be the 2 films that decide whether or not this trend that The Greatest Showman's kind of given a boost will continue.
Yeah, we'll see.
There's a terrible edit in this trailer that feels like a Lifetime movie or something.
Oh,
where Ben Whishaw is an older Michael. Because that's the other thing I hate about this. It's about the Banks children.
Do you hate it, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it does mean it's... I know, obviously, it's roughly the same idea.
Just hate is a very strong word.
Well, it's the same idea. Magical Nanny comes to town. Like, that. There's only so much you do with that. It's about how you tell the story that makes it important. It's just a shame that in this case it is, the Banks children... you've got fucking miserable lives. I'm coming to fix it, and your children's lives. Well, it's like, does it have to be the Bankses? Does it have to be the Bankses?
Well, yeah, because you want people who've watched the original to feel a connection to it.
Yeah, or just
Mary Poppins is not the character you follow so much as a character who makes things happen to other people. Yeah. She comes in and she improves lives for people. It's not about
she's Father
Mary
Christmas.
Poppins.
She's the Doctor. Yeah. She's Sherlock
so
Holmes. She shows up in the story and deals with
it. And if you want
stuff.
to maintain a continuity and a connection, even on an emotional level, not necessarily a narrative level, then that's why you use the Bankses.
But it's just a shame that it is... everything we learned, we've put away. Cause it's like, so they're going to relearn the same lessons as kids.
It's almost as if that's what happens in real life to many, many people. You're full of wonder as a child and life beats it out of you through the various things it throws at you. And sometimes you need someone to remind you how magical life can be again. I think it's a really smart decision because it's honest.
Yeah, well, okay.
As honest as a move like that from Disney can be. I mean, it is couched in...
drenched
marketing
in filth.
But also that at its core is kind of an honest message. It's like life beats out the optimism of being a child, but it's still there if someone can help you find it. You know?
Okay. Alright, well, you won me over on that note, Squire. But yeah, I don't know. I think I just that edit. I think it's really sweet. Yeah. He's like, we're financially ruined or whatever. It's all been like ever since your mother. Oh, and it's just sort of the way it's edited. It's like, I really hope that's not that. I really hope that's not the final cut because even Ben Wishaw's performance in that moment looks kind of hammy. It's like, that's a shame.
Wait. Hammy acting in a Mary Poppins film?
I mean, to be fair, this is Ben Whishaw. Ben Whishaw made Paddington understated in a way that was pleasant and respectful.
Understated. I do like Paddington. I've not seen Paddington 2, but I fucking love the first one.
The 2 Paddingtons are in this movie.
Oh, yes.
Because Colin Firth was originally Paddington, and then last minute they cut him out, and I don't think they've ever fully explained it aside from...
No, Colin Firth...
It didn't really fit So...
Yeah, Colin Firth himself was just like, I just sounded too old.
Oh, was he? Yeah. Did he pin it on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like, I just didn't sound right for it, and it just made sense. I didn't think it was right. The guys making the film didn't think it was right, so we just...
That makes Wishaw's performance even more impressive, because it means he had to swoop in and with minimal changes to the CGI, change the performance of Paddington in a way that fit and also made it his own.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's probably why Paddington 2 did better, because even that character probably felt more rounded, because it was completely...
I need to get around to seeing Paddington 2, because I really like the first one.
I've heard good things.
I've heard great things.
About Paddington 2! But will we hear good things about Mary Poppins 2? Poppins harder.
Poppins, maybe.
Mary Poppins 2.
Judgment Day.
Mary Poppins 2. The Quickening.
No!
It's also nice to see hand-drawn animation in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's just weird that it's
nice
the
to see
same animals
animation
from the
everywhere.
last one. Because it's like,
again,
does she just do the same thing every time?
But again, nostalgia, emotional continuity.
Yeah.
This whole film is riding on nostalgia for the older generation, and it's riding on the magic for the younger generation. So you bring back those old things, so the older people go and see it and take their kids to see it, who then get into Mary Poppins all over again. Yeah. And then in 30, 40 years, they can do the same thing.
I like that last shot, though. I really like
that
her
down into, that's really good.
Just falling back into the bath, and it's like, the fuck just happened? Disappears.
I am cynical about Disney's motivations for Mary Poppins Returns, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be a bad film.
Yeah, true that.
And it doesn't mean that it's not going to have something nice to say.
Speaking of something nice to say, I think we have quite a few nice things to say about our next trailer.
Discover what makes her a hero.
Fuck.
And when that change of words happens, someone at Warner Brothers got fired. Because an exec saw that and said, why the fuck didn't we do that for Wonder Woman?
Well, sir,
You're fired!
Oh,
get out!
Okay.
Get out!
Okay. I'll just go sit over here in the job centre with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck.
No, Henry Cavill's sorted. And Ben Affleck's in rehab. So.
But we're not going to get an official statement from Affleck or his people until he's sort of in a better
It's a contractual
state.
thing. He can't be fired from a role while he's in rehab.
Yeah. But Henry Cavill's muddied the waters about the Superman thing by posting an Instagram video to a random quirky tune with barking in it of him just lifting up a Justice League Titan figure.
Yeah.
And then pulling it down. And that's all he's done. It's like, is that him teasing that, like, there's still stuff going on everybody's not worried about? It's way too cryptic. I don't know. It's way too cryptic.
And his agent's been like,
it feels
the
like
cape is still in his closet.
It feels like he wants to say something, but he also knows he shouldn't, so he's done that. And it's like, Henry, what the fuck is that? It doesn't matter what it is. My agent and Warner Brothers can't look at it and go, oh, he said something. They're like, So, yeah. But if we need a super freaking powered space hero, we're not short of them, because Carol Danvers herself, Captain Marvel, is landing on, what's the date it was given? March something? March 9th, I think it was.
I think it's just 2019 at the moment.
Yeah. Either way, holy smokes. First full trailer. It's the teaser, I guess, but...
I suppose.
The Captain Marvel...
The first we've seen of it, period.
Reveals a plot centred around Nicholas Fury.
Nicholas J. Fury.
His working alongside a mysterious woman who falls from out of space, and in relation to evidence of an alien invasion.
She seems to have memories of having a life on Earth.
Yeah, which is I think that's a great spin on it.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like, this isn't... People are like, oh, what's it going to be adapting? It's not really going to strictly adapt anything, because Carol Danvers didn't begin as Captain Marvel.
No.
Carol Danvers was, originally Warbird, then Ms. Marvel.
She was originally
Ms. Marvel, then Warbird.
She was originally just a pilot, and she was the liaison to the then original Captain Marvel. Yeah. I think she's been played by Jude Law in here, although the nature of their relationship, I've no idea.
They've sort of pulled back on saying he has that name.
But
based on the visuals, it's like, that's Marvel. Yeah. That's Marvel. Or at least the Marvel surrogate in this story.
Yes. The leader of the Star Corps, I think they are called. The sort of Kree... The Kree Space Force, for want of a better name.
Yeah.
Who all have the uniforms.
Kree Space Force, the best force. Yeah. Okay.
The sort of the green uniforms which form the basis of what later becomes Carol's red and blue Captain Marvel suit.
Which looked like the Captain Marvel costume of the later years, especially, as well.
Yeah,
if you look at Earth's Mightiest Heroes, like, that's basically the costume he's wearing in that animated series.
Yeah, and it's also directly based on the Jamie McKelvey redesign for when Carol became Captain Marvel full on.
Because she was Ms. Marvel, then Warbird with a couple different costumes, all thigh centric.
So much leg, all the leg.
But her powers came from like a mix of things, but primarily Rogue. Like,
no, the other way around.
Oh, that's the other way. Yeah, Rogue got her flight and strength from Carol.
Then from Carol, Carol got her powers from. She was with Marvel and got caught in an explosion. Jan Rog, I think, was like this weird Kree dude, and he had this bomb thing, and it exploded, and she got Kree DNA infused into her, so then she's got powers. And then she got experimented on by the Brood later on, and she got her binary powers from that, where she can draw power from nearby stars and all.
I just thought, I know the Brood sort of exist in that copyright haze at the moment.
I don't think we'll get the Brood.
No, but imagine them popping up in a future Carol story.
I think she'll
maybe not do the experimental thing, but just have them in it. That would be fucking terrifying.
I think she'll already have her binary powers as part of a power set in this.
Of course.
I think that's what we're seeing at the end of the
trailer.
But
I just hope that copyright grey area, they can utilise the Brood.
Maybe.
As long as they did it in a Captain Marvel story, they could get away with it. Like the way Quicksilver, they could use Quicksilver, but only if it was in an Avengers property, because he technically exists in that grey area of he's an X-Men character and an Avengers character equally.
Once this Disney Fox deal goes through, it's not going to be an issue anyway.
The Skrulls are very much sort of they're a Marvel character, but they've always been more a Fantastic Four associated villain. Until modern event comics, where they've really been big players in Avengers stories and the MCU at large.
Yeah.
Hence why there's that grey area where they can be used in Captain Marvel.
Yeah. But this is not going to be an issue going forward.
That's true.
Very soon.
By the way,
there's a lot of people who are not going to have jobs going forward very soon.
Yeah. Lest we forget everybody, monopolies, bad.
Yeah. You see a little bit of Skrulls. She punches an old woman on a train for no reason. Presumably he was a Skrull.
Which has confused the internet like crazy, who don't know what Skrulls are and what they can do.
But also, just fun. A funny shot. The music's great. It looks great.
The music's fucking gorgeous. The build-up, the flashes between like her memories where you sort of see... Like there's a bit where like she falls down and you see her as a kid falling down, like looking like she's in distress. Yeah. Kid falling down in what looks like the middle of a game. As an adult falling down, like again, sort of in a less frightening sort of thingy. As an adult falling down as a pilot uniform, presumably in a combat zone. And it's like, holy shit, like, is this how the movie's going to play out with all these... Imagine if, like, nearly every sort of beat has just, like, this brief flash of 4 other alternatives that remind her of something, and that's how they show the flashback.
What if...
But that's how they show her amnesia, as it were, like, by this. Like, we literally see what she suddenly remembers.
There's also that great shot at the end of the trailer where it cuts from her as a little girl to a teenager to a young woman to Captain Marvel standing up from being knocked down.
Yeah.
And clenching for that.
Beautiful.
So much marketing.
Beautiful.
So much marketing.
Flashes of Coulson. Gets a nice big close-up with his de-aged face.
And de-aged Sam
Clark
Jackson.
Gregg is back in the MCU movies. And Sam Jackson... I was talking to Lucy about this last night. We think that the prologue to Ant-Man, the flashback scene to the Tony's memory scene,
all in its
Civil
Marvel
War,
de-aging stuff.
Yeah,
it's been leading up to this.
The flashback scene. What's the other one where there's a really sort of significant one? At the beginning, Guardians 2, Kurt Russell. These scenes have been rehearsal for Captain Marvel.
I don't think it's necessarily
I don't mean they've been created for that, but they've used that in their effects department. To hone this thing of de-aging an actor for prolonged periods in a convincing way. Because this trailer certainly gives the impression that Nick Fury is a big character in this movie.
Yeah.
And
I believe that is
I'll be damned if that does not look like mid-90s Sam Jackson.
Fucking hell, it looks like mid-90s Sam Jackson.
It's amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, Sam Jackson has aged very
we don't see a
well
lot
in
of
general.
It, but the way that technology's been getting better and better and better and better, and the amount of money that Disney must be sinking into it.
Because the only reason it's been disjointing... I think the only one people point out was like, well, that looks weird, is Tony in Civil War. And I think that's more just because we saw what Downey Jr. looked like at that age.
Yeah.
He didn't look exactly like that.
No.
But
close enough.
Tony would look like that.
Yeah.
Like the Downey Jr. we know as Tony Stark definitely would. So it's only disjointing because you're like, oh, you see them back to back. You see that Tony, and then you see Tony in the background, and it's like, oh, that's weird. Like, that's the same person. I don't know how to feel about this. Whereas with Michael Douglas at the start of Ant-Man, and Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer and Ant-Man and the Wasp and stuff, it doesn't have that detachment because
It
you're
just
seeing...
fucking looks like him.
Yeah.
It just fucking looks like
Yeah.
them.
And-
Kurt Russell in Guardians 2. It fucking looks like Kurt Russell.
It's amazing.
Like-
They just reached back into the 80s and went...
Just pulled him
yank.
out.
Yeah.
Yoink!
And same with Sam Jackson in this. Like
Yeah.
he looks like he does sort of that...
It's crazy.
That Jackie Brown sort of like...
Yeah.
Sort of era Sam Jackson. Both eyes as well. Well, we know now he has both eyes anyway. Just one of them is blinded and damaged.
Yeah, but this one is pre-eye patch. Pre-eye patch Nick Fury.
It's not the only returning character like Coulson. Ronan the Accuser. We see a nice shot of Ronan silhouetted by a window, as all villains tend to get in sci-fi movies nowadays.
Jimon Honsu's Korath the Pursuer is in the Star Corps.
He's among Star Corps, looking much more humanoid and less tampered with, which is nice.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we sort of get, as TV Tropes calls it, the start of darkness for Ronan in this
Korath,
movie.
yeah.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. And yeah, I just think it's going to be great. I had the idea of what the plot might be.
Hit me.
What if...
Ow!
What if...
The Watcher.
What if there is a Carol Danvers on Earth still, but she's a Skrull, and the original Carol
shit!
was captured, rescued by the Kree, and joined the Star Corps,
I want that.
and has ended up on Earth.
I want that now. I want that to be a thing. I want there to be a scene where they try and track her down and there's evidence of her being around. They're like, no, you see, Carol Danvers can't have disappeared.
Because she's still here.
She's still here. And that's like, oh shit, that means you're going to get a scene where Brie Larson's fighting Brie Larson.
I'm not saying that that's going to be the plot,
But that would be really cool.
but that's just me going, what if?
That would be fucking amazing. Oh god, that would be so cool. This film, I think, will do a tiny bit of Days of Future Past style continuity tidying.
Oh, absolutely.
With S.H.I.E.L.D. in particular,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
in Iron Man it's sort of like strategic homeland intervention and like
Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement Logistics Division.
you need to work on a better name. Yeah, we're working on that.
Yeah.
And then which I always just took retroactively as more of just an offhand thing of him being like, yeah, don't worry, we're working on it. The only thing that, knowing full well that they already haven't. No,
Yeah.
But the only thing that made that weird later on was because S.H.I.E.L.D. was obviously, in a couple of films later, a very publicly known thing.
Yeah.
So in that movie, it's sort of played as though it's a secret organisation that's just building up. But you can it's a subtle retcon that's completely fine and doesn't really disrupt anything. However, in this movie, I think they might do a whole thing of like, S.H.I.E.L.D. is sort of, it's known, but people don't really know what it does.
Yeah, I don't think it's publicly known like the CIA or FBI, but it's known in military intelligence circles.
Because there's definitely like an underground base sort of vibe going on in this. You see like those corridors and them logging into a thing.
And it's also when does it's the SRS, isn't it, in Captain America and Agent Carter?
Yes.
When does that become S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah. Because we know that it does, because we've seen in Ant-Man and stuff, we've seen Agent Carter and Howard Stark like working.
They were
for S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, they were
because basically the family members were like Howard Stark, Peggy Carter, Dum Dum Dugan. So like we know that S.H.I.E.L.D. is a thing, and there is some underground base lab stuff going on. But this might be the point where the law enforcement bit comes in much more.
Yeah.
Because Sam Jackson is like straight up just dressed like a sort of disgruntled detective.
Well, also it says in the trailer, it's like I was about ready to pack it in, and then you turned up, so this just got interesting.
Where did she turn up, Matt?
In a Blockbuster.
Fucking Blockbuster video. And don't we all now feel old? Because Blockbuster's considered a shorthand visual for the past.
I fucking worked in a Blockbuster. How do you think I feel?
You can point out any inaccuracies when the film starts.
Well, it's the American one, so, you know.
Check
And it's a couple of years, like about 10 years before I started working in one, presumably. Assuming this is set around 1997-ish.
The jet stuff, I think just because, again, it's the shorthand visuals, but like some of the stuff you see on the airfield, it's like, oh, it's Top Gun, but with less dick. Do you know what I mean? Just the way some of the shots are framed, it's like, that is very reminiscent of that film specifically.
Yeah.
But I think that's more because it's just like the sun-tinted flashback of, hey, we had a great time playing with the girls.
Let me tell you,
oh,
I am down for this movie.
You down to clown?
I'm so down.
It looks pretty great. The mystery, what looks like sort of a friggin' sci-fi lobotomy memory wipe thing's really creepy.
Yeah.
And
Jude Law's weird alien eyes.
The bit where they're like blasting, sort of swimming at high speed through water, and they're wearing the helmet from the Captain Marvel outfit, complete with gap in the top for hair spilling out of it. Yeah. Which is really freaking cool.
I'm so down. I'm so down.
I'm I'm excited. Only a very brief shot of the Skrulls emerging from the sea.
Yeah, literally a blink and you'll miss it shot of the Skrulls. The fact that I didn't see them the first time I watched the trailer.
So, yeah, and the poster that came with it is really cool as well. Like the sort of the aircraft carrier doors open and she's stood at the bottom. And they are not making light of the fact she is probably going to be the most physically powerful.
Yeah, if she's got her binary powers, which I would imagine she has.
Like, she's super strengthy, but, like, she is... I think she's the first MCU character that just blasts full-blown lasers from their hands.
Probably.
Like, that isn't a tech-related thing. Like, Iron Man vision and stuff, yeah. Scarlet Witch does, like, kinetic stuff.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But, like, this is the first time where it's just... She opens up her hand and a concussive force that can knock a fucking vehicle off its hinges, like, blasts out of her hand in one go.
Yeah, she's just straight up energy.
Yeah. Like, they're really playing up again in the market in the trailer that she's, like, possibly overpowered.
Earth's mightiest hero.
Because they are obviously getting the public lexicon and the pop culture audience ready to go... Oh, this is who's going to be fighting Thanos. Okay.
And that's going to be fucking awesome. Can you imagine how many mind babies are going to be pissing their pants if, like, the person who kicks Thanos' ass is a fucking woman?
Yeah. I can't wait, man.
It's going to be awesome.
I'll tell you now. I'll tell you who I think the three players are who are going to be the main force fighting him. Like, if I had to pin it down to, like, the final battle moment with Thanos... Unless there is a big sacrifice moment for a certain character, which is possible. Like, I totally think that Cap or someone's going to be taken out in some way. Iron Man, it's building up that Tony's signing off in number 4 in whatever way that is. Tony's definitely signing off. Well, they've confirmed that it's been confirmed now that Jon Favreau is in Spider-Man Far From Home. So the Stark Industries connection is continuing. Whether or not that'll be with Tony is remains to be seen.
All right, okay, that's interesting.
But I regardless of that, I think the three players who will be going hand to hand against Thanos in a final battle are going to be Thor, because they see that so much in the first one. Oh yeah,
Thor's going to join in that
fight. And let's face it, the moment in the first movie that just gives you the biggest rush is when he fucking arrives on the field of Wakanda.
Mate.
And you're just like, that's the first moment in the movie where you think, oh fuck, they might actually win. It's
but they might stop.
They're gonna win. They're gonna win now. Like, he's here. The tide has turned.
And the second
one,
and
it does. It just turns, unfortunately, the wrong way.
Yeah.
But yeah, Thor's definitely going to be physically in there. Wanda is going to be physically in there. Scarlet Witch is going to be a player in that final fight, and Captain Marvel. I think those are the three that, if we've got the big face showdown, they are going to be.
I think Doctor Strange and Ant-Man are going to be major players as well.
I think, Ant-Man, yeah, but I mean in terms of, like, that hand-to-hand against him at the end. I think Strange will be off the board until the last minute, I think.
Yeah, maybe.
Just to sort of make the threat feel really like, oh shit, like, what are we going to do throughout the movie? It's like, he's the only one who had a connection to this shit. Like, but Strange, Wanda, like, a couple of them have direct connections to this stuff. So
I can't wait not only to see this movie, but also see how it plays into the next Avengers.
Yeah.
Which I'm going to say is going to be called Avengers Forever. I don't care if it is or not. I'm calling it Avengers Forever now.
I think the post on mid-credits title sequence on this is going to be something Thanos related or Infinity Gauntlet related. At the time of this movie.
Do you think?
I think it's going to be seeding that, like a Ronin thing or something that sows a seed to connect it, so that you go, oh right, she's this is the 90s, but Brie Larson is presumably not going to be aged up 20 years for Avengers. So I think there is some time-space stuff already setting up in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it might be a direct, because obviously Nick Fury.
It'll be something like, oh, he doesn't age at the same rate because of the Kree DNA in it or whatever. They'll just explain it.
Or Time Stone, man. Maybe there's some time travel stuff going on. Imagine if Avengers 4 had time travel in it. That'd be amazing. Don't look at the set photos. Definitely
going to be called Avengers Forever because it's got time travel in it. It's definitely going to be called Avengers Forever. It's called Avengers Forever.
The past is far behind us. The future doesn't exist. Look, an old man died, but hey, a computer. Everything's great now. It's the future.
Do you think?
I don't think, ever.
That we will get a trailer for the next Avengers film before this comes out, but untitled, and the title reveal will be in the Captain Marvel credits as Captain Marvel will return in...
That would be fucking amazing.
Can you imagine if they fucking the bollocks on them. For
That would be
being
amazing.
Like, we don't need to even market this movie with the title because people know what it is and we know they're going to go see it.
Yeah, I think what we're going to get between now and Captain Marvel's release is we're going to get a teaser trailer for the next Avengers.
Yeah.
And it's going to end in that way where it's just like the A. The A is all we see at the end.
Yeah, that was what is in my head.
And then
that's
just,
what
and
I
then,
do.
And then just summer 2019. And it's going to be a really, really obscure trailer that doesn't reveal anything at all, really. Or fuck that, an A as it begins to crumble into dust.
Yeah.
It's not going to reveal anything. It's probably not even going to be new footage. It'll be like that very, very first Infinity War trailer where there was just snippets of new, like you saw Natasha and you saw Bruce, but the rest of it was just like close-ups of the characters and with some voiceover.
Any of it that is new footage is not going to feature any of the characters whose fates were left hanging at the end of the last one.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be Tony, Cap, Thor,
probably Thanos,
Widow, Thanos.
Yeah. Nebula just going, I'm really angry.
No Captain Marvel.
Stop whispering. I'm really angry. Unless they show Captain Marvel in the teaser. And that's like the hook of stories continuing.
Apparently, Kieran...
Because they're in reshoots this week.
Karen Gillan was saying that the Mantis and Nebula have kind of a best bros relationship in Avengers 4.
Oh, that's giving it away then, because Mantis disappeared.
They're all going to be back.
I know, but that's giving it away a bit, Karen. Come on. Calm down. Yeah.
They're all going to be back.
Yeah, I know they are. Well, you see, I was debating this the other day, weren't we? Like, who do we think is dead?
No one.
I think Loki's dead. And
No.
I'll tell you this. Heimdall's dead. Loki's dead. Gamora's the only one of the deads who could come back, but I also wouldn't be surprised if they found a way to play on her being definitively dead. But
Heimdall's dead.
However, I think Loki's dead, but Hiddleston's not done. I think we're going to see Loki
because
Battle of New York era in the next one.
I think there's rumours that.
Oh.
And this will take...
Kid Loki! Oh my god, if they did that.
No.
Okay, sorry, I just...
There's
if anyone's
rumours.
like, Kid Loki, read the comics. Seriously, fucking great.
There's rumours that, and this is going to lead us into our next topic, that as you may know, and I know you do know because you told me about it,
Okay.
Disney's upcoming streaming service, yet to be launched,
Yeah.
apparently they're planning to add some Marvel shows to that,
Yes.
which will tie more directly into the MCU.
Okay. Sucks to be all the other shows.
And one of the ones that's been floating, rumoured,
Yeah.
is Tom Hiddleston in a Loki show.
I would be very surprised if he did that, unless it was a certain payment and the scripts were really fucking
And also
good.
another one that's been floated is Elizabeth Olsen doing a Scarlet Witch.
Oh, see, I'd watch the shit out of that. And again, though, it has to be a good paycheck, and it has to be a really good thing. The way to do it is miniseries, like a 3-episode miniseries.
Again, this is all just rumours. None of this has been confirmed. This is so it could be absolute bullshit. And the thing that makes me think it might be bullshit is like no one's going to pay money for that. But then when you think about it, actually, no. If anyone can afford it, it's Disney.
What's everyone's sort of criticism of the DC original content for the DC Universe app been so far?
It doesn't tie in with any of the other stuff.
But also, that just looks really cheap and a bit weird. Like, Titans is their launch, and it doesn't look great. What's the other one that they're doing? Brendan Fraser's the voice of Patrol. Doom Patrol. Some set pictures have leaked for that, and again, out of context, out of lighting, it's weird. Like, sort of like, it looks a bit cheap and odd. But we were like that with Titans. Then we saw the trailer and went, oh, this does look cheap and odd.
Yeah, we were like that with Inhumans. Like, oh, this looks cheap and odd.
Yeah.
And then it did look cheap and odd.
So if you're going to really win people over to your streaming service, if you're giving them like, hey, this is like going to watch one of the MCU movies, scaled back just a tiny bit, and it's a mini-series, yeah.
Yeah, if you want to get like
work.
Tom Hiddleston for like an 8-hour-long, like a Loki story, or fucking if you can get Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen for like an 8-part Scarlet Witch and Vision,
that'd be amazing. That'd be fucking amazing. And then you do your direct ties, and do you know what you do as well? Do you know what you fucking do as well? In these shows, you throw a bone to your ABC and Netflix.
Well, they're winding down Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
that's done.
But do you know what I mean?
Agent Carter's been and gone.
You throw a bone to them. In like, here you go, guys. We're finally acknowledging the wider world. Like, if you do Scarlet Witch, you freaking tie Runaways into it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
If you're doing a Loki show, have a moment with something from Netflix. Just something. Do you know what I mean? Just something from that world, like an Iron Fist related thing or something. Yeah.
Apparently, season 2 of Iron Fist is a lot better.
I've heard
which doesn't surprise me at all. But I've not watched it yet, and it's also 10 episodes as opposed to 13.
Is that the trend now? It looks like they're planning to do that going forward.
Luke Cage was 10.
Apparently, there was a big nod toward what's going on with Daredevil Series 3 and Iron Fist Series 2. Like, there's a big sort of this is where that's going to go.
Because from what I know of it, it starts off with with Danny having assumed the protector role.
Yeah, of Hell's Kitchen
that Matt Murdock left. But also we've had the teaser for season 3 of Daredevil now. With have you not seen it?
No, is it a trailer or is it
it's like a 2 second? No, it's not 2 seconds. It's just Matt Murdock in his black man without fear tracksuit costume in a confessional.
Okay,
he's basically saying, "I think I'm at the point where I would rather die as the devil than live as Matt Murdock."
So we're going the full blown, because they've done that in the comics, haven't they? Where he just like abandoned Matt Murdock and his real name and just focused on his mission.
We're getting a version of Born Again that incorporates that. That'd
be really cool. Fuck, I've still not watched Jessica Jones Series 2. I've still not watched Luke Cage Series 2, and I've still not watched either Iron Fist. It's mostly just been down to timing. Like when Panto season starts and I've got plenty of hours in the morning, I'm going to start watching these again.
If you can only fit one of those in, fit Jessica Jones season 2 in, it is fucking brilliant.
But last thing, I'll tell you this, the only one of them that in my bones, I'm like, if I don't watch that as soon as it releases, I'll be upset with myself, is Daredevil Series 3.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because Series 1 of Daredevil did so much for me.
Yeah.
That I'm like, that's my bit. If I had to pick out the Netflix shows, which is my favourite, I think it's Daredevil. And it's mostly because of Series 1.
Yeah, I can see that.
I freaking love Jessica Jones and I love Luke Cage. And the Punisher was harrowing. It's excellent.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm not revisiting this anytime soon. If I want to revisit The Punisher, I'll rewatch the first 2 episodes of Daredevil Series 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, although I'm looking forward to more Punisher. We're getting that second half of next year, I believe.
Being shot at the moment, I think.
Yeah. Oh man. Just
being shot.
So much good stuff. But so much stuff that never made it.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, this is something that I wasn't as aware of until we were planning this episode, and then we started talking about Marvel TV projects.
Yeah, it turns out
there's a fucking ton of stuff that as they've thrown at the wall that hasn't stuck.
Yeah, so let's just sort of, for the sake of catching everybody up, just so you know, the MCU is currently, as of Ant-Man and the Wasp, 20 movies released over 10 years that all connect in that they all take place in the same fictional universe, and sometimes obviously we have characters that cross over, and sometimes we have storylines that cross and intersect. Here's all the ones that we know about that have existed, right? So the films, pretty straightforward: Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America: The First Avenger, Marvel's Avengers. Phase 2, Iron Man 3, Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers: Age of Ultron, Iron Man. Phase 3, Captain America: Civil War, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Spider-Man: Homecoming, Thor: Ragnarok, Black Panther, Avengers: Infinity War, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Captain Marvel, and the Untitled Avengers 4th movie.
Avengers Forever.
Post Phase 3, so presumably Phase 4, Spider-Man: Far From Home, and the now sort of permanently on hold, but it's still listed as post Phase 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We can also presume, based on comments made by certain directors, that a Doctor Strange sequel is in the works.
Yep.
You can bet your fucking bottom dollar that a Black Panther sequel will be in the works.
Fucking hands down.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's another Thor, because Hemsworth has been very vocal about, I was okay coming to the end of my contract, but after Ragnarok, I feel there is so much more that can be done with this world and this character.
Apparently it looks like Taika Waititi might be on set for Avengers reshoots, so we might be getting Korg back.
Nice. Or at least seeding some thematic stuff, maybe.
Possibly.
Because he and Hemsworth sort of chipped in with Marcus and McFeely for Thor's part in... Because Chris Hemsworth was unhappy with Thor's role in Infinity War during filming, because he felt that it didn't gel with what had just come before it.
Yeah.
And of course that's because the stories are totally different. But when you watch Infinity War, whatever tweaks they made work, because you believe fully that that's the same Thor you watched 2 movies ago.
Yeah.
Like, that's the exact same Thor. He's been through the same stuff. The humour is there, albeit now he's now he's using it as a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Which is fucking great. I think my favourite scene in Infinity War is just Thor and Rocket in that brief conversation, because it's heartbreaking. It's so good. Anyway, so those are the movies. Easy to follow. If you want to fill your time between the films with more stuff, you have currently 5 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
But how many of them are good?
Well, they begin roughly, if you wanted to binge everything, start Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after you've watched The Avengers, because it begins after The Avengers.
Yeah.
And roughly coincides with the movie releases. You'll find the occasional bit of crossover, like around the time of Guardians, they start doing stuff with the Kree.
Yeah.
The most effective one is at the end of Series 1. It's at the same time as the Winter Soldier came out, so the Hydra Shield thing happens, and that obviously impacts the show in a big way.
Yep.
Which means the next 2 seasons involve ratting out the Hydra side of stuff and trying to wrestle control back from it.
Season 2 also features a bunch of Inhuman stuff, which would presumably have been seeding for the then upcoming Inhumans movie, which didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of that stuff ties into the Inhumans TV show.
Also, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you get MCU versions of villains and characters that aren't necessarily going to be getting films anytime soon. Like, if you love the Hulk, but we know that there's not really going to be any individual Hulk movies, one of his most significant villains, the Absorbing Man, is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
I think he actually started as the Thor villain, you know.
He did originally, yeah. But he's been more attached to Hulk in terms of the brawl aspect of it all.
I suppose.
And characters like Ghost Rider, who they're not going to be rushing out a film anytime soon, get entire season story arcs. So, like, Series 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. features a Ghost Rider, the is it Robbie Reyes version, so you get to see Ghost Rider in the MCU thingy, but they save the Ghost Rider that would make a film, sort of presumably for later. Like, if they're going to retcon him into the MCU proper.
Yeah.
So you get to see that the Ghost Rider and the Spirit of Vengeance totally exists in the MCU, and here's this version.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is great. Marvel's Agent Carter, there are 2 seasons of that. It's freaking wonderful.
It's really good.
It's a vintage-style espionage show featuring Hayley Atwell and James Darcy, who are absolutely wonderful.
So good.
And Dominic Cooper's back as younger Howard Stark.
Yeah.
And it's great, and more Hayley Atwell in our lives, please. Marvel's Inhumans. There is 1 series. It's 1 series. It is out there. It's not very good, but again, if you're looking for just like 8 40-minute distractions,
Devil's
during 1
advocate.
week.
I haven't seen it because it looks shit.
Yeah, but
And
it
by
also
all
has
accounts
a giant.
it is.
But it also has a giant CGI bulldog that teleports, so swings and roundabouts.
I'll get there, I suppose.
Well, I think we will end up watching it eventually. I think we'll get round to it when it's on like a streaming service.
Maybe when I'm in my 70s.
Or well, I've always said that because sometimes they do deals on the Blu-rays for the Marvel stuff in the because there's now a superhero section in HMV, which I'm like, that makes me sad, but also happy because I guess you can find it all in one place.
Why does it make you sad?
Because it sort of, I don't know. It feels like they're sort of pummeling it into people.
You're just a sort of, because that's not happening anywhere.
No. But I mean, like in that way where, like, if you don't like that genre, you come in and you go, oh, for fuck's sake, there's like 3 shelves of superheroes.
People already do that.
Whereas, like, the horror section and the world cinema's like being reduced to sort of one shelf, not even a unit. It's just like,
that kind of sucks.
But like, I'm glad I didn't do the week when I saw it, because it turns out I already have Agent Carter series 2. I've not cracked open the Blu-ray version yet. But they occasionally do deals where it's like 2 for £15 on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I've always said to myself, one day
we gotta sell these box sets, guys.
but then the DVD versions they do 2 for £12. So I keep saying to myself, one day I might pick up, like, spend 24 quid and get the first 4 seasons of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then blow through it.
I think they're all on Amazon Prime.
If the Inhumans and the Netflix shows enter that category, I'll probably end up doing that as well, just so I've kind of got them.
Like, why would you buy the Netflix shows?
Because they do come with features.
Okay.
And I like Daredevil that much that I would be like, I'll buy the Blu-ray.
I'll give you that.
So over to Netflix, you've got Marvel's Daredevil, Marvel's Jessica Jones, Marvel's Luke Cage, Marvel's Iron Fist, Marvel's The Defenders. Each of those have got, apart from The Defenders, each of those have got multiple series. And Marvel's The Punisher, which has 1 series and another series on its way. On Hulu, and this is one I really want to watch, and there is a 2nd series in the running, coming out later this year, Runaways. I really freaking want to watch Runaways.
I hear it's good.
Because I read some Runaways. I liked what I read of Runaways. And, you know the freaking, shall we say, without saying too much, dinosaur element of it?
Yeah.
That's apparently in there. So, I want to see that shit. Also, James Masters is in the cast. That makes me happy.
Yeah.
On Freeform, and if you're in the UK, Amazon Prime, Cloak and Dagger is out there.
Yep.
More angsty, sort of sexy teen drama kind of thing.
I've not really watched it, so I couldn't tell you.
So those exist. And stuff that's in the pipeline, or not necessarily, we'll get to in just a sec, because there's also digital series. There was the very brief Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Slingshot, which I believe was, I think that was live action, and it was a mini spin out of... Yeah, it was a mini spin out of... and the digital series revolves around a mission Yo-Yo Rodriguez embarks on before the events of the 4th season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So it's like a prequel.
Yeah.
To Series 4 of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, I didn't know about this one.
Newsfront stuff.
Yeah.
That is...
Faux American current digital affairs thing. Is that tying into... it ties into the movies. It ties into Age of Ultron and Ant-Man.
Yeah.
So again, like, even things like that, fictional news sites are in there. Then, of course, there's the Marvel one-shots, which I love. I love the one-shots. I freaking love them. And they stopped in 2014, and that was the last we saw of them.
I've never heard about these one-shots from you before and how great they are.
Oh, god damn it. They're so good. Overseen by Louis Desposito, who is also, like, still one of the... Every Marvel film you see is credits in the producer thing or consultants.
What's his name?
Louis Desposito. I don't know any Spanish, I'm not going to sing along. But yeah, the first one's a consultant, which is pretty straightforward, and it's our introduction to Sitwell, and it's Sitwell and Coulson sitting in a diner talking about how Fury wants to look into getting Blonsky.
We don't need to explain the plots of all
this. Yeah, but it's a cool... Like, but basically...
Just breeze through them.
But basically, it's a tie-in to... I think it's on the Thor... Yeah, it's on the Thor disc, and it's a tie-in to Incredible Hulk. And it's very cheap, because it's just all they've shot new for it is them two in a diner on 2 days. Well, it's all been shot on the same day, obviously. And that's it. But it's an idea of, here's some stuff that's going on alongside it.
They're all basically little shorts that flesh out the universe a bit. But if we explain the plots of each one of them, it'll actually take longer to explain the plots of all of them than watch any of them.
Yeah. Well,
let's just breeze through them.
So, funny thing happened on the way to Thor's Hammer is on Captain America. Yeah. Item 47 is the first one that's bigger and a bit more elaborate on the Avengers special features. Yeah. That is great. And it's also the only one that does tie directly into S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. Because 2 characters that appear in that then pop up later in S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah. So it's like, well done, guys.
Nicely done.
Agent Carter then is on Iron Man 3, and that was, they admitted afterwards,
this was
a backdoor pilot for Agent Carter show. And it serves as a prequel to Agent Carter, the show. Like, it's a little gap bridger. Hey?
Cap bridger.
Yeah. And then the best one, hands down, is All Hail the King on the special features of Thor the Dark World. And it's phenomenal. And it's Ben Kingsley and what happened to Trevor Slattery after Iron Man 3.
Would you say it's better than Thor the Dark World?
I would say, if you haven't bought Thor the Dark World yet for understandable reasons, it's worth the purchase to get hold of All Hail the King.
So it should be All Hail the King with Thor the Dark World.
Featuring Thor the Dark World as a special feature,
cool.
But that's great. As we were looking through this, because we were just trying to figure out like the release schedule of some stuff, we noticed 3 things have been mentioned. One of which, good sir, kind sir, is Marvel's New Warriors, which we were aware of.
Old Warriors,
It's in production, and it is looking to be released this year, but I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out next year, or maybe over Christmas as again, a gap bridger between now and Captain Marvel. New Warriors is based on the comic book series New Warriors, the team New Warriors, who are like teenage superheroes who they've gone through different iterations, haven't they? But they're all basically...
Are they going with the reality show angle?
I don't know if they're going with the group cope to learn... The young group learn to cope with their new abilities in a terrifying world. So no indication as to whether or not they're going with the reality thing. But yeah, they are... They are a group of teenage superheroes who, various different things have happened with them, but one of the most significant was they had cameras following them around to be a reality show. Yeah. Which in the comics was part of what kicked off the comic book version of Civil War in one of the most genuinely depressing and horrific ideas that Marvel have ever put out in one of their big open event books.
Mark Miller had nothing to do with it, did it?
It was great, though.
It was
pretty great.
It was good.
So the lineup for that, as we've got, is Debris, Microbe, Speedball, Night Thrasher, Mr. Immortal, and Squirrel Girl.
And I think Mr. Immortal and Squirrel
Complete
Girls...
with Tippy Toe.
Yes. Mr. Immortal and Squirrel Girl's inclusions, I think, mean that they're also going to incorporate some elements of the Great Lakes Avengers.
Yes. So I think this
and
is...
them being kind of bad superheroes.
I think even though Squirrel Girl is freaking OP as fuck in terms of who she takes down.
Yeah,
she's defeated Galactus.
They've been very specific sort of
comedy books,
yeah.
But I think that's what they're going for with this. I think it's a coming of age story told through a comedic lens. Yeah. Because Runaways is your coming of age story in a world where you find everything difficult and the world's all against you. This is there, and here's what it's like when it's fun.
Otherwise, it's just going to be the same two shows with different.
Let's hope the Speedball doesn't become Penance.
Oh god.
Anyway.
All right.
Because that's an angsty as fuck thing. Another one which we had heard about. I think we talked about this briefly, but we didn't realise how far they got. Was Damage Control.
Yes!
Marvel's
I
Damage
remember
Control.
this. I remember rumblings about Damage Control.
Yeah. Based on
especially in the wake of Rehire James Gunn. Ha-ho!
We'll be back after these messages.
Rehire James Gunn.
It's based on the Marvel Comics organization, Damage Control, which is a cleanup crew.
Yes.
Specifically, is when a big, if a city block gets taken out by the Abomination in a fight with the Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
The police and authorities and fireworkers all show up to deal with it. And then, as it's quietening down, another batch of people show up. And they cover it up and completely deal with it. Pay off who needs to be paid off to keep stum. Work with the authorities to be like, we've got the legal agreement. You can't talk about this thing and you can't talk about that thing. Oh, god damn it, you guys. Fantastic. And then they spend the next couple of days literally in hard hats and shit, getting rid of rubbish.
They mention them in Homecoming, don't they?
Homecoming sows the seed, yeah. So this was apparently, it was ordered in October 2015 for a put pilot. And apparently the put pilot wasn't made, but it was intended to then be aired at the end of 2016, start of 2017.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if the Damage Control bit at the beginning of Spider-Man Homecoming wasn't there because they assumed that at least the pilot would have gone out there by now, because it's not. Spider-Man: Homecoming begins with Toomes' crew.
Yeah,
because obviously they retcon
crew.
Adrian Toomes into being an engineering guy who works for clearing crews and wrecking crews, and that they make it so that they get then this government appointed thingy, and I think you see it. Like someone says Damage Control.
I think
they show up and they're like, we deal with this stuff,
control,
and they're funded by Stark Industries, and it's like, that makes sense. Like Tony would sort of fund something like this, put money into it. So it's established that it exists. We've just never really seen it.
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. have definitely filled that role a little bit, because in Item 47, the one shot, we find out they cleared up all the Chitauri weaponry after the events of Avengers. Because Sitwell, the plot of that is Sitwell's tracking down one gun, Item 47, that's missing.
They've got the Thor the Dark World tie-in in the Age of S.H.I.E.L.D. series, is them cleaning up in London.
Yeah.
Post Thor the Dark World.
Yep. So there is Damage Control elements exist in the universe, but they were looking to do it. And I think, it doesn't say here, but I will, because I think you would do more of a comedic series with that as well.
Yeah.
Because especially it says here, the show follows, this was the statement, the show follows the overworked, underpaid cleanup crew of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah. Who
specialise in dealing with the aftermath of superhero conflicts, rescheduling events because of the conflicts, and retrieving lost items. So Item 47 was probably also a backdoor pilot to get the put pilot.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. doing bits and pieces to do with Dark World and stuff will be touching on it as well.
Yeah.
But also it sounds like it would have been comedic. I'll tell you why I think this didn't go ahead.
And I think we are having exactly the same thought.
DC's show, which was called
Powerless,
which was basically not cleanup, but the same thing.
It was the insurance company who dealt with everything.
Yeah, and Powerless went out, didn't it? It was like a full series.
It went
out mostly, and then the rest of it.
Yeah,
I think the rest of it they petitioned to show it, and they did it on like a repeat night or something. They showed it all one day, and they put the last two on, or they put them on the home video release or something.
Yeah, Powerless.
Starring Vanessa Hudgens and Alan Tudyk, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was a really good cast for a comedy show.
Danny Pudi, other people.
And it was a show set during... Not set in a specific DC continuity.
No, because the Alan Tudyk character was a cousin of Bruce Wayne.
Oh, that's stupid.
Yeah.
That's really stupid.
It is really stupid.
That is really fucking stupid,
It's really stupid.
Oh,
he dresses up as Robin in one episode.
That's funny, but that's funny. If there wasn't a cinematic universe kind of thing going on in general, or people going, where's it set? In the DC TV universe or the DC film universe?
Yeah.
If that wasn't existing, Powerless, great idea. Absolutely brilliant idea. Yeah? Fantastic. But it didn't do well. And it was a mix of things, wasn't it? It was like audience reception and stuff like that. It just didn't... It didn't. It just didn't. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's what made Marvel put the brakes on Damage Control.
Yeah.
But that's not the only one. There was one other show that we were really surprised to hear about.
I remember hearing about this when it was in development. I remember hearing about it when it didn't happen. But I'd actually completely forgotten about it until you brought it up again.
And a pilot was made.
Yes, it was. I remember the buzz about it at the time.
Marvel's Most Wanted was an unaired American television pilot based on the Marvel Cinematic Universe versions of the characters Bobby Morse, so
A.K.A.
Mockingbird,
yeah.
and Lance Hunter, a.k.a.
Lance Hunter.
Shared continuity of the films, and it was spinning out of the second season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
So this would have been... the premises was given as thus. Ex-spies and ex-spouses Bobby Morse and Lance Hunter are on the run trying to uncover a conspiracy against them. With no help from S.H.I.E.L.D., the peacekeeping and spy agency that previously employed them, they enter into an uneasy partnership with rogue adventurer Dominic Fortune and his niece Christina Santos. So basically... Mockingbird's quite a prominent Marvel character in the comics. She's an oft-used, usually in Super Team books.
She's become more prominent since 2000. She was dead for a long time.
But she's been a player in Avengers books, New Avengers
since
books,
Secret
Spider-Man,
Invasion, that brought her back into the mainstream, yeah.
So she would have been the hook for Marvel fans to be like, oh, Mockingbird's got her own show.
The Hook!
But it's also full of the characters that would make comic fans go, oh shit, it's them!
Yeah,
oh shit, it's them!
Yeah.
So, but it would be, and this is what made me feel intrigued about this, it'd be a Winter Soldier sort of deal. It would be in an espionage and thriller.
Yeah.
Sort of on the run kind of show.
Yeah.
Complete with, they were cast Adrian Palicki reprising her role as Bobby Morse, Nick Blood reprising his role as Lance Hunter.
Very good.
Delroy Lindo had been cast as Dominic Fortune, and Fernanda Andrada had been cast as Christina Santos. But also Oded Fair, who I absolutely adore. He's mostly known for playing the Medjai, Ardith Bey, in the Mummy films. This was my first bus ride. Oded Fair. Oded Fair was listed as playing a well-known character from the comics who exudes a villainous charm and is a force to be reckoned with for Morse and Hunter.
Count Nefaria.
You think so?
Yeah.
Fuck! That would... Oh my god! That's probably right. That is probably right. But it would be amazing. But the thing is, we don't know any more information about it than this, because ABC hold the rights to it, and it turns out, by Jiminy
Greaves,
its cinematic tie-ins would have been as thus, according to the Wikipedia source. On potential crossovers with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Bell said, this Bell is one of the producers, Bell said in March 2016, in reference to the way Hunter and Morse were written out of that series of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., we just want to be clear we're telling a different type of story, and in doing so, you don't want to be telling a story where you go. Why don't they call Coulson? He can fix this easily. Because that line has been severed. Not that you can bring them back someday or have someone from S.H.I.E.L.D. show up on this show, but it really is setting up a different part of the universe. Blood described the situation as they're on their own, they make up their own rules, just turn the phones to airplane mode and ignore calls from back home. So it is like, oh yeah, they could get in touch with S.H.I.E.L.D., but that would ruin the type of story we want to tell. They're on the lam, that's what we're doing. So there's potential for crossover with other Marvel Cinematic Universe stuff, but this was essentially seen as spinning out of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Not picked up. In April 2016, Most Wanted was seen to be a no-brainer for a series pickup by insiders. However, in early May, it was said to be cooling. And not considered the lock it once was. At that time, the producers were prepping if-come orders, which is deals with the writers that will come into effect in the event the pilot is picked up. On May 12th, 2016, the pilot, so not even a month later, the pilot was passed on by ABC, with production successor Channing Dungey explaining that Most Wanted did not feel as strong as some of the other pilots that we shot. So there were more.
Oh yeah.
Now that's ABC related, but
that's ABC pilots, not Marvel pilots.
They could have been Marvel. It could be that they didn't announce stuff.
We
talked about it with Marvel, and we all came to an agreement that we want to figure out what the next show is and do that together. And is it something that we all feel as creatively strong as can be?
Well, that was Inhumans, so that went well.
Yep. Well, then again, that was reappropriated into a TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. However, Dungey said that ABC was open to the series being shopped to another network if Marvel found another home for it. So it's not dead, but then Jeff Loeb acknowledged this possibility, but said the series was designed to do a very specific thing alongside S.H.I.E.L.D. on ABC. And as recently as June this year, Jeff Loeb indicated that Marvel did not have the ability to release the pilot. Of course, people have said, well, it's not going ahead. Could the pilot just be put like on Netflix or something, or on ABC,
or on Disney's streaming service?
Yeah, or like on Hulu or stuff. These are the things you've got deals with. Marvel don't have the ability to greenlight that, as the potential release is controlled to this day by ABC. So it's probably someone at ABC isn't going. Oh yeah, no shit. Here you go. Here's my signature. Yeah, you put it out. Whatever. Fine.
I'll have a sniff around online and see if it's been leaked anywhere.
Madam,
I'll have a sniff around.
It could have been.
I don't think it has, because I'm sure we would have heard about it.
It's entirely possible, though.
I'll have a sniff.
Dirty bugger.
I'll have a sniff. And on that note of me having a sniff, let's have a sniff of what we're going to be doing next week.
No! Yeah, right, fair enough.
So basically, Chris is going to be away for a couple of weeks.
No, I'm not. We'll definitely be on microphone every week. Don't be daft. We just want to live in a bubble and not talk about current stories for a bit.
Yeah, Chris is going away. Why are you going away, Chris?
I don't know. I'll get some shoes rehealed or something.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm looking for something to get my Gable end repointed.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I just want to get No, I'm going to Florida to become a big boy.
Yeah, well, if you eat the Florida food, that'll happen.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, don't. Right. So, so I'm getting married next week, and as part of that, because we've been on a really sort of stricter food regime along the way, and we've been gymming like crazy. I kind of have biceps now. They're not.
You always had biceps.
No, but like they're not pronounced. But like when I do it, I'm not going to do it.
No, it's pronounced biceps.
It looks vain as fuck. But when I tense my arm now, a shape appears that was not there in January. So I mean, look, right, there's my arm.
No, I get you. Yeah.
So there's that. Where the fuck did that come from?
Get them guns, son.
It's great, but also like my physical fitness has improved a bit because of it. Like
that'll happen.
It's great, and we did it because we were like, oh, when it gets to wedding time, we kind of like want to just sort of be fit and healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not particularly unhappy with my body or the way I look. I'm quite content with how I am because it just is what it is. But at the same time, Lou wanted to do it, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it alongside you.
May as well. It's not going to hurt.
Let's do it. And because of that, I've just enjoyed the physical fitness change. I'm not really fussed about weight loss. I just like, I feel fitter.
Physical fitness.
Like my part-time over the last few months, I would not have been able to have lifted all that freaking beer and shit as well as I did had I not been gymming. But anyway, because of that, when we get to America next Monday, Lou and I are purposely not eating anything big or delicious for 5 days. So that when
delicious.
So that when it comes to Friday, we can get into our wedding outfits without a problem. Because we fit them now, but imagine if we binged for 4 days before we had to put them on.
Oh, mate.
So, and not only that, the pool behind the villa we're staying in.
The pool?
Yeah, we've got a little pool.
The pool?
Our villa, a little pool.
Yeah.
We're not going to be having fun in that pool for 4 days.
We're
going to be swimming lengths in that pool for 4 days.
You're going to be swimming lengths in that pool for 4 days.
There is a gym on site at the resort that is part of our thingy.
Oh, so
for the first 4 days, when we're getting up in the morning, we're going to be hitting the gym at like 6 a.m. for an hour.
Last minute contouring, last minute body sculpting.
Yeah. And that is a really depressing thought. Because we're there for 2 weeks, and the majority of the first week is the run-up to the wedding day. And we're not going to be indulging in the amazing food and drink that is out there.
No, that comes after the wedding.
You've
got to save yourself for the wedding, Chris.
Yeah, that's the thing. Week 2, holy shit.
Oh!
Holy shit, am I eating all of the things.
Shit is going down.
It's going to be like Friday.
Your throat.
Friday we're getting married in the morning.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Lou and I basically have sort of like a mini honeymoon period of just on our own without the family that are there. On the Thursday night, the Friday night, I guess, because obviously like Friday evening we're all together.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday till the evening. Staying on our own in the hotel and stuff and all this. Yeah. As part of that, on the Saturday we're going to Volcano Bay. Oh no, on the Sunday morning we're going to Volcano Bay, which is Universal big water park resort.
Yeah.
Friday morning, I want to look as trim as I've ever looked in my life.
Yeah, because you're going to be in trunks all day.
Sunday morning, I want to look like Snorlax in a Speedo. I want to spend Friday and Saturday just gorging myself on delicious food.
Delicious food.
So, I can't wait for that part. But anyway, so that's why the Big Damn Cast is cancelled. This is the last episode. Guys.
Yeah.
Basically, you've been emailing
It's
a
in
lot.
the vows. You can't do it.
It's in the vows. Yeah, it's official. I take this lady, who's my lovely wife, under the condition that I don't talk about shit on the podcast anymore. No.
Ever again.
So because of that, I'm not here next week or the week after.
Yes.
But the podcast is.
Yes.
And not only that, it's with me?
It's with Chris.
Yeah, guys, if you're wondering why your emails aren't being read out the next couple of weeks, it's because they're pre-recorded episodes.
Yeah.
But they will be on time, and they will be juicy, and they'll be on SoundCloud, and iTunes, and YouTube, just like you like them.
The next episode you hear will be a big email catch-up, because we've been banking them.
Yeah, because the last few weeks we've been, again, just schedules and work and everything. Yeah. It's been tough to do the emails, and you guys have sent in some brilliant emails, and we always go off on tangents, and it always takes us into 4-hour-long territory of chatting away. So next week's episode is going to be an email special.
Yes.
So even if you've not sent an email in, stick around, because you know you want to hear us debate weird shit like...
Stick around.
What's your favourite episode of Red Dwarf, and why is it better than your least favourite episode of Battlestar Galactica, or some shit like that?
Yes.
You know what sort of shit you send in.
I know what you're like.
It's an email special next week, boyos and girlos.
Yes, so we'll be going through the backlog of emails then.
Week after... Well, you'll have to wait and see.
We've not decided yet.
No. But we've got a couple of days to figure that out.
Yeah, it's okay.
We've got that tomorrow or Friday? Friday, isn't it?
I have a question, Christopher.
Yes.
Do you get back before Sunday, October the 7th?
I do. We are... No, I get back on early Tuesday the 9th.
Yes.
So we're going to get together on Wednesday the 10th to record an episode.
Okay.
It's going to be the jet lag special.
Is there anything we might want to talk about in particular on that episode that comes post Sunday, October the 7th?
Wait, what?
No sort of television event. No.
I think it's safe to say that we're going to be if you want to hear our thoughts on the woman who fell
my
to
thoughts
Earth,
and a jet lagged man's thoughts.
Yeah, then that'll be that week. So don't worry.
I would hope. Yeah.
Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen. We were thinking about it. We were like, will we
be back?
Well, we fly on the Monday night.
So we're
8th. We're gonna be in America time. So like by the time we get back here, it's like early Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
So
that's gonna fucking bake your noodle, innit?
Yeah, it's gonna screw with my brain. But, and it's a big but. That means we're all gonna be pretty much packed on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because we have to drop our bags off at I think it's Disney Springs is where we're doing it. We drop the bags off for air carry on the Monday morning, so that we then have like 5 or 6 hours to do whatever we want before we go to the airport. So we're probably gonna like head back to one more park and stuff.
Yeah.
So because of that, we'll all be packed and ready on the Sunday night. So Lucy and I might sit in front of the TV at 8 p.m. Eastern Seaboard time to watch Doctor Who on BBC America, maybe. We don't know.
It's a simulcast, isn't it?
No, it goes out like later in the evening.
Okay.
But for America time. But yeah, so we might do that, or we might save it for the morning when we get back. Like sit down and have like a bacon sandwich and a proper cup of tea and watch Doctor Who. So
I hope it's good.
Yeah, I really hope. I bet
I've got my fingers crossed, man. My fingers are so crossed. I'm so jazzed.
But I'll tell you what else is jazzed. Us, because we're going to start recording this now and get something to eat.
Yay! And then we're going to go through your emails in next week's episode, which we're recording today. Don't
think about it.
Don't think.
But think about this. If Minnie's a mouse.
Yes.
And Mickey's a mouse.
Yes.
Donald's a duck.
Yes.
Goofy's a dog.
Yes.
Why is Pluto just a dog?
Ah!
Bye!
You listened to a thing! Well done. You're winning in life. If you want to keep winning, you can check out this. Maybe this. Whatever's up your alley. See you around.
Whatever's up your alley.